If you're a man past 60 and you've felt your erections grow weaker, your sensitivity dull out, or your desire just quietly disappear, then what I'm about to share may surprise you. Because the truth is, what's going on down there isn't just aging. It's a hidden warning, a red flag, a quiet cry that your circulation is dropping, your tissues are inflamed, and your nervous system is slowing down. But here's what nobody bothers to mention. There's a simple, natural way to bring it all back. A way that doesn't involve drugs, needles, or embarrassment. And it starts with 2 ingredients already sitting in your kitchen: castor oil and baking soda. I'm Dr. Mohit Kha, a men's health specialist and urologist with over 3 decades of experience helping older men reclaim their sensation, power, and confidence without fake solutions or false hope. What I'm going to reveal is rooted in real science and real success stories from real men. Now I get it, castor oil and baking soda for male performance sounds strange. But that's exactly why this deserves your attention. Because this combo doesn't just sit on top of the skin, it goes deep. It tackles 7 of the most ignored causes behind decline after 60. It improves blood flow. It softens tissue. It soothes inflammation. And it helps reconnect you with a part of you that's still very much alive. Stick with me, because I'll walk you through exactly how it works, how to use it step by step, and what changes to expect in 7, 14, and 30 days. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. But before we start, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss another natural tip or solution built for men over 60. And if this message hits home, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Either way, I'm here too. Serve to improve and to bring you real tools that work. Now let's start with something most older men never get told, but they desperately need to hear. Because before you can heal anything, you have to know why it's really happening. It's not just age. That's a lazy excuse, and it's dangerously wrong. The truth is, what's happening to your manhood is far more fixable than you think. And most importantly, your body isn't failing. It's asking for help. Asterisk, I've sat face to face with hundreds of men. Strong men. Wise men. Men who built homes, businesses, and legacies. And yet, when they open up about what's happening to their bodies after 60, their eyes drop, their voices soften, and they whisper the same quiet line. I think something's wrong down there. They blame stress, aging, or choices they made years ago. But the truth? Most of them are wrong, and not in the way they fear. What's happening to their manhood isn't failure. It's not the end. It's a message, a signal, and if you learn to read it, it can be the start of something powerful. See, when erections fade, when sensation gets weaker, when your body feels foreign, it's not because you're broken. It's because blood flow has slowed. Inflammation has crept in. The prostate is pressing just enough to pinch important nerves. Your body is quietly dialing down the systems that once gave you confidence, connection, pleasure. But here's the thing, the incredible news. You can turn this around, naturally, safely, without embarrassment. I remember Joseph, 68, widower, sharp mind. He looked right at me and said, "Doc, it's like I vanished down there." But just a few weeks after learning what was really happening and making the right shifts, he came back to my clinic smiling. Not just because he felt better, but because he felt alive again. Your body isn't giving up. It's speaking. It's saying, help me, send blood, reduce the inflammation, heal me. And when you really hear that, everything begins to shift. So the real question becomes, what can you do right now without drugs or surgeries that restores blood flow, reduces inflammation, and brings your manhood back online? The answer may already be sitting in your kitchen. Let me show you. Castor oil, the deep restorer for men over 60. I'll be honest, when I first heard about castor oil being used for male health, I brushed it off. It sounded outdated, like something from grandma's medicine shelf, not something that could boost blood flow or reignite sensation. But the more I studied it, the more I saw it actually working often in ways that shocked me. Today, it's one of my go-to recommendations for older men looking to heal without medication. Castor oil isn't like most oils, where others just sit on the skin. Castor oil travels deep. It passes through outer layers, into tissue, fascia, even blood vessels. And what it brings is remarkable. Anti-inflammatory agents, circulation boosters, and a warm, awakening effect that gently nudges the body back to life. When applied to the lower belly, thighs, or groin, castor oil coaxes blood back into areas that have felt disconnected for years. One patient, Walter, 74, comes to mind. 2 years of disappointment. Pills failed. Hope was low. We started with a simple castor oil packed nightly across the pelvis. Just weeks later, he said, it's like a switch flipped back on. And it wasn't just physical. It was his energy, his smile, the way he carried himself. That's what I love about castor oil. It doesn't force healing. It encourages it. At our age, we don't need more pressure. We need support. And castor oil offers that in the most natural and respectful way. But it's only half the equation. There's one more powerful ingredient that works alongside castor oil, breaking down blockage, softening tension, and removing the barriers that hold you back. And when the two are combined, the results can be stunning. Let me introduce it to you. *3 Baking soda, the tissue softener that brings sensation back. If castor oil is the healer, then baking soda is the door opener. And no, I don't mean baking cookies with it or scrubbing your teeth. I'm talking about using it in a way most men have never considered, topically, gently, and with a purpose. I get it. It sounds odd. The first time I told a patient, he chuckled and said, "Doc, you want me to smear soda down there?" But a few weeks later, that same man wasn't laughing. He was grateful. Here's what no one tells you. As men age, especially past 60, the tissues in your pelvic region start to trap acid, waste, and physical tension. You don't feel it overnight. It builds like grime in an old pipe. Slowly, it stiffens the soft tissues, chokes blood flow, and dulls not just sensation, but the very sense of self. You stop feeling like you. And worse, you start thinking maybe you never will again. That's where baking soda comes in. It gently balances the acids that harden your tissue. It loosens the layers that restrict blood, dull nerves, and numb pleasure. And when you mix just a pinch of it with warm castor oil, then apply it to your lower belly, inner thighs, or groin, it's like giving your body permission to wake up. One patient, Ronald, 68, had tried it all. Testosterone, pills, even injections. Nothing worked. But after just 4 nights of using this blend, he sat in my office and said, "Doc, I felt a warmth I haven't felt since I was 40. And then just a week later, he woke up with morning wood. Not a fluke, not wishful thinking. Just real chemistry, working with the body, not pushing against it. And this is the turning point. Because once even a hint of feeling returns, your body starts to believe again, to respond, to trust the process. So now the big question is, how do you apply this blend the right way to reach the areas that need it most and create the deepest results? Let me show you. 4. The correct way to use it, step by step. I've lost count of how many powerful remedies fell flat, not because they didn't work, but because they weren't used the right way. This mix of castor oil and baking soda isn't a miracle potion. It's not hype or hope in a jar. It's a tool, and like all good tools, it only works when used properly. When applied with care and consistency, I've seen this blend restore warmth, open circulation, and bring life back to tissue that had felt numb for years. Here's exactly how. I teach my patients to use it. Start with a clean area and a quiet moment. No distractions. No rush. This isn't just self-care, it's reconnection. You're tending to a part of yourself you may have tuned out for far too long. Take 1 tablespoon of organic castor oil. Add in a small pinch, about half a teaspoon, of baking soda. Stir until smooth. Then gently warm the mixture in your palms, or place the bowl in warm water for a minute. This isn't about heat, it's about comfort. Now, apply it slowly to your lower abdomen, the crease of your groin, and the inner thighs. These are your body's power highways. They channel blood straight to your manhood. Use gentle, circular strokes. Soft pressure. No scrubbing. No rushing. This isn't about effort, it's about signal. You're telling your body, wake up, you're wanted, you're still here. Some men add a warm towel over the area for 20 to 30 minutes, letting the blend soak in deeply. Others simply lie still, breathe, and feel what their body says back. Whatever approach you take, do it with care. And this part's crucial. Repeat it at least 3 times a week. Healing won't happen overnight, but it will happen. I've watched it unfold again and again. First, a flicker of sensation. Then deeper sleep, a stronger stream. Then dash confidence. But if you're ready to go beyond that, if you want results that come not just faster, but deeper, there's one more piece. Because hidden right in your hands are 3 pressure points that can instantly boost blood flow and stimulate nerves you thought had gone silent. Most men have never heard of them, but you're about to. 5. Pressure points that wake up the pelvis. There's something remarkable about the human body, something most men forget with age. It already knows how to heal. But we're conditioned to chase fixes, pills, procedures, shortcuts, always looking outside ourselves. And yet, sometimes, the real key is literally right there in your hands. In my years of helping older men recover, some of the most profound shifts didn't come from medication. They came from something much simpler. Touch, not clinical, not robotic, but intentional, focused, and calm touch applied to the right spot at the right time. I teach my patients 3 specific pressure points to use while applying the castor oil and baking soda blend. They're small areas, but they work like switches. The first one is right at the base of your wrist, in that soft little dip between 2 tendons. Hold it gently for a full minute. It calms your heart, relaxes your system, and opens up blood vessels, signaling your body to shift from stress into healing mode. The second point is on your inner thigh, about 4 fingers above where your leg meets your pelvis. Pressing here supports lymph flow and boosts circulation into the pelvic floor, the exact place where you want warmth, sensation, and blood to return. The third point? It's between your big toe and second toe, right? Where they meet. This one has been used for centuries. It's known to stir energy, restore blood flow, and even support hormonal balance, including testosterone. I'll never forget George, 79, a recent widower. He didn't come to me about performance. He came because, in his words, I don't want to feel invisible anymore. So we didn't begin with pills. We started with his own hands, the blend, the pressure points, a quiet moment each evening. 2 weeks later, he called me. His voice was different. Doc, he said, I feel like me again. These aren't magic tricks. They're signals, reminders to the body that it's safe to come alive again. And when used with the blend, they don't just speed up results. They reconnect you with a part of yourself you thought was gone. But this is only part of the journey. Because what you do after this ritual, what you eat, what you put into your body, can either reinforce the results or quietly undo them. And unfortunately, this is the part most men get completely wrong. Asterisk, let me show you how to get it right. 6. The foods that lock in the healing. Here's something most men never consider. What you eat right after using the castor oil and baking soda blend can either lock in the healing or quietly reverse all the progress you just made. Think about it. You've just opened tissue, boosted circulation, cleared old blockages. Your body is finally ready to absorb nutrients and rebuild, but feed it junk? That's like clearing a stream only to dump sludge right back in. I've watched this play out too many times. Take Bill, 72, a retired firefighter. He was doing everything right. The blend, the pressure points, the rhythm. But he said to me, "Doc, I feel a flicker. Then I lose it again." So I asked, "What are you eating after your sessions?" And that's when it clicked. Processed meats, white bread, soda, heavy cheese. Nothing fresh, nothing alive. His body was opening mud. His food choices were slamming the door, shut again. So he didn't overhaul his whole diet. We made a few small, strategic changes. After each session, he started with a glass of beet juice for a quick nitric oxide boost to support blood flow, a hard-boiled egg or half an avocado to supply the healthy fats needed for hormone balance, then a bowl of steamed spinach with olive oil and garlic, one of nature's best artery relaxers, and finally a square of dark chocolate, rich in flavonoids, to keep the blood moving. Nothing extreme, just real food at the right time. The shift? Immediate. Not just in performance, but in mood, energy, and self-trust. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I got a part of myself back." That's the secret. You don't need a perfect diet. You just need to support your body when it's most ready to heal. And when you do that consistently, the results don't just last. They grow. But there's one final piece to all of this, and it's not physical. It's not something you eat, apply, or press. It's what you believe about yourself. The quiet story you whisper each morning when you look in the mirror. Asterisk, let's talk about that now. 7. The mindset shift that reactivates manhood. There's one thing I've learned after 3 decades of sitting across from men behind closed doors. The deepest wounds aren't always physical. They're mental. It's not just the body that breaks down. It's the belief that you no longer matter. I've heard men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s say the same heartbreaking words. "I feel invisible. I think my time has passed." And I get it. When your body stops responding, it's easy to start thinking you're broken. But what I need you to know right now is this. You're not broken. You're paused, waiting. I think of Frank. He'd survived prostate surgery, made it through. Recovery followed every step. But when he looked at me, he said, "Physically, I'm okay, but I don't feel like a man anymore." That moment stuck with me. Because no oil, no supplement, no pressure point was going to help until he believed he still mattered. So I asked him to do one thing. Every night, after applying the blend, place one hand on his chest and say, "I still matter. My story isn't over." He told me it felt awkward at first. But within weeks, things shifted, not just physically, but in his voice, his posture, his energy. He said, "I feel alive again, not younger, just more me." Because here's the truth. Your body listens to how you treat it. Treat yourself like a burden, you shrink. Show yourself just a little respect, you rise. This blend works. The food, the pressure points, the circulation, they all work. But the anchor that holds it together is belief. So now you've got the science, the tools, the mindset. The question becomes, how do you make this stick? How do you turn all of it into something real, something nightly, something that changes you? That's what I'll show you next. Asterisk, and here we are. You've just walked through 7 powerful truths, truths most men over 60 will never hear. We talked about your body, your blood flow, your vitality, and your value. You learned why your manhood isn't failing, how castor oil and baking, so to help restore what time tries to take, how your own hands, your food, and yes, even your thoughts can wake up something you thought was lost. And I'm not sharing this just as a doctor. I'm speaking as someone who's looked into the eyes of men who thought it was over until they realized it wasn't. You still have time. You still have power. You still matter. Now, it's your turn. Take this knowledge and use it. Start tonight. Because the real medicine isn't just in the oil. It's in the ritual. The decision to show up for yourself. To believe quietly, consistently that you're not done. This isn't the end. It's the return, not to who you were, but to who you've always been, underneath the noise, the years, the doubts, still here, still strong, still capable of feeling it all again.